Welcome to the No New Friends podcast, the podcast for adults who love to laugh at adulting. Join Scott, Mary, Chris, and Sarah as they discuss adulting topics that may not be suitable for little ears. Unless you are a small adult like Chris. And then it's fine.
The No New Friends podcast is brought to you by Manscaped. For the best in below-the-waist grooming, check out manscaped.com. Use the promo code NNF for 20% off your purchase. That's manscaped.com.
See, you say that. You say you want to see him one last time. I'm very anti-seeing them one last time. Like, I saw them one last time. I did when they were breathing. Let me know if you've ever encountered someone like this. So, if you've ever been to a full viewing and funeral, like, whole presentation, there's that very, like, jarring, very, not romantic, very, it's opposite of romantic, very,
The opposite of romantic is me. I don't know.
I don't know what to call it. Moment
dramatic?
when they close the casket. When they close the casket. Dramatic. There we go. So listen, there's that very dramatic moment when they close the casket, right? And it's like that you're done. I clap. I get up and I applaud. It's like when you land an airplane and you're finally there. I clap because it's like, okay, thank you so much. Especially those funerals for like the people that you see or the viewings that you see. It's like they were 106 years old and their faces all sunken in and stuff. Like nobody wants to. I do not want to see Blanche with her eyes sunken in. The last time I saw Blanche, she gave me a caramel candy. It was a beautiful memory. I don't need to see her one last time. Put a little portrait up. Don't even, you know what? And go as far as like, don't even put the casket in the room. I don't need to be in the same room as them. They're dead. I don't need to be in the same room as them. I don't need any of this. No one needs any of this. It is so sad. It is like you know that you're just gonna go there and be sad. Let's normalize renting out like clubs for people's death. Like you rent out a club and you just party for their life. I will dance on the grave, literally. Of someone who dies rather than see them dead in a casket.
Yeah.
I just don't like
the good thing for you, Chris, and Ricky, who's from Queens, New York, is you guys are used to seeing plenty of death just on the streets, you know, from the stabbings and the random muggings. So like it's not as much of a shock for you.
Sure. Yeah. I was just stepping over dead bodies as I walked to school.
And now it's time for the No New Friends podcast with Scott, Mary, Chris, and Sarah.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
That's right. You're listening to the No New Friends podcast, voted number 1 by our friends and family. We are the podcast for adults who like to laugh at adulting. If you'd like to connect with us on the Instagram, the Facebook, the TikTok, the Twitter, all of our social media, all of our links are right there on our website. That's nonewfriendspodcast.com. While you're there, you can check out our really sweet merchandise or join our clubhouse and become a friend with benefits. That's our Patreon. For as little as $2 a month, you can check us out and watch us record these things live. Also, while you're on our website, check out our sponsors for a bunch of exclusive deals just for our No New Friends podcast listeners. Either a special link or a special code. That's HelloFresh, BarkBox, Manscaped, Night Watchman, Ghost Tour, Fiverr, and then all of our other great sponsors as well. My name is Scott. I am the host. We've got a mixed up show today because the girls are out. So with me, as always, my co-host. He is our scumbag reselling hoarder, Chris.
Go Birds. Probably not a movie quote, but I bet you it was probably in Silver Linings Playbook.
No, you know what it was in? It was in Silver Linings Playbook. It was in Invincible with Mark Wahlberg.
Ah, there we go. And I'd like to congratulate the Eagles on their Super Bowl victory against the Chiefs, 35-23. Crazy score.
You don't know that. Also, our producer. Yeah, our producer Alex.
Hola.
And in with us, subbing in for the girls, who they're synced up. They're synced up and out this week. So we have Mr. Sarah Lewis.
What's going on, nerds?
And then a very, very special first-time guest on the No New Friends podcast. We're just going to call him Uncle Rick, my brother-in-law, Rick.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
There you go. Well, happy Valentine's Day. This is our Valentine's Day episode, and what fitting way to do a Valentine's episode than to have a big sausage party. So here we are, 4 men discussing love. But So, Lewis, the way that Sarah describes you is you're like the perfect husband, if you will. But she's probably the perfect wife, too, because she's into Star Wars and all that. So these are the things I need to ask you guys, because this happened to me this weekend, talking about Valentine's Day and getting gifts and all that. First of all, how good of a gift giver are you, Lewis?
I consider myself a very good gift giver.
Okay.
The only reason is, I don't know about you, but I listen to her. And she tells me everything she likes throughout the year. So
do you take notes?
Yeah, pretty much mental notes. But she tells me so often that I remember. There's no way I can't.
So you're a really good listener. That's what I'm getting from that.
Yeah, out of the two, I'm the one that listens. So.
Okay. Apparently, I'm not, because I was supposed to go to a concert tonight, but didn't remember. So I'm dealing with that. Ricky, how good of a gift giver are you?
It depends, man. It's hit or miss. Like, there are times I knock it out of the park, and then there are times I forget. So it really is hit or miss. But there was one gift I got my wife, your sister-in-law.
Wait, no, my sister. She's my sister.
Oh, right.
You're my brother-in-law. Okay, first of all, this segment's all going to be about family tree and who is
It's my
That's
wife,
from Alabama.
your sister, not your sister.
There we go. Got it.
Well, yeah, no, like I said, hit or miss. I've done some really nice things. Like one time I got, dance lessons, and then there's another time I didn't get anything. So, it depends on the mood, I guess.
Two whole different spectrums.
Right. Well, I want to keep them on their toes,
right.
So when I do get them something nice, they're like, oh, wow, this is awesome, unexpected,
Chris, what about you?
Yeah, so I have the curse, blessing and a curse, I'll say, of being too good of a gift giver. And not as of late, because when you're 10 years into a relationship, you don't have to give great gifts anymore. It's appreciated, but you don't have to anymore.
You can get her a keychain.
Exactly.
That's what I do. That's what I do for Christmas.
So what happened was Emily and I's. How do you even say that? What is the grammatical term for that? Emily and I's.
Emily and mine's.
Emily and
ours.
Emily
ours.
and
Just
our.
ours.
So our first Valentine's Day. We were in junior year of high school, and I got her sapphire and diamond earrings.
Oh,
and
junior year of high school.
Yes, and listen, this is because
you're like the smaller version of Mary's daughter's boyfriend, getting her AirPods in middle school.
Wow, you boomer.
Earpods.
So,
now I sound
in
old.
Jersey, he's probably talking to some people on the street, and with the mob, and he fell off the back of the truck.
Exactly.
Yeah, in the back of an alley.
So the problem was, my family owned a jewelry store, so I would get this jewelry like very, very inexpensive. It would be cheaper to buy her diamond sapphire earrings than it would to take her out to dinner, right? So for the first like 5 years of our relationship, 6 years probably, we had owned this jewelry store. So I'd get her like really nice stuff. Like I'm talking like maybe $3,000-$4,000 diamond bracelets for like a birthday. That cost me, a fraction of that, right? But the blessing was that. The curse was we don't own the jewelry store anymore. so it's really hard to keep up with that. So now it's just like you can't put my saying is you can't put a price on sentimental, right?
Right.
So
that's what you're saying.
So
how's that working?
So like listen, we'll talk after the podcast. So you like now instead of cards are so expensive. I don't believe in cards. I stopped believing in cards a couple years ago before the big card rise. So I make cards, or I just say like, oh, it fell in the storm sewer or something like that, something tragic that makes them feel bad. And I save $5 a pop now, and now cards aren't a thing. I got our whole household to convert to not giving cards anymore. So
good for you.
We single-handedly bankrupted Hallmark, the Hallmark in our area. It is no longer in business. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I was a great gift giver, Scott. Because now I just give gifts that I'm interested in too. Like I was talking before the stream, I got Emily a PS5.
Didn't you win that PS5?
We're gonna cut that, Alex.
You did win the PS5. Yeah.
Emily listens to this.
We've definitely talked about that before. Getting gifts for our significant others that we want. Okay, so guys, this is how bad I am. Okay, so the other day, and this doesn't really have anything to do with Valentine's Day except it's candy. But the other day, Rachel says, "Hey, I was going to the gas station to get another big gulp because it was about that time." And I was like, "Hey, I'm going to get a Diet Coke Light Ice. Can I get you anything? Because I always ask, like, that's really the only considerate thing that I do is I ask, can I get you anything while I'm out? You know, or when I'm on my way home from work, I text her, hey, I'm on my way home. Do you need me to get you anything? So I ask her, you know, can I get you anything and all that? And she says, yes, chocolate. Okay. Anything in particular? Because again, I don't pay attention. I don't know what kind of chocolate she likes. She's like, I don't care, just chocolate. So Chris, this is like the major, like setting you up to fail, right? Like, because if I get the wrong one, then it's like, why don't you pay attention to me? What's wrong with you?
Right. Like you knew that I liked Snickers. Why'd you get me the Milk Duds?
Exactly. So Chris, I walk into the 7-Eleven and I get the little basket, the little shopping basket, and I load that thing up. I'm just randomly selecting chocolates. I know she likes chocolate and peanut butter, so I'm getting just different assortments of Reese's cups, the Reese's Sport Bars.
Scott,
Reese's
listen, I don't mean to cut you off in the middle of this, but is it still considered getting her something when you're using her credit card?
At that point, he's just a delivery boy.
There you go. He's picking her up something.
I'll have you know that the Platinum Amex is under my name.
Yeah, she got you the bonus card that you can say, would you like anybody else in the household to have a card?
Where he goes to the gas station, he wears his Uber Eats shirt. And he comes back, here you go.
Just because you're an authorized user doesn't make you the owner of the card.
Anyway, jerks. So I fill up this shopping basket with just an assortment of chocolates and gummy bears because I know she likes gummy bears. So I'm thinking if I load up the basket with things that she hates, at least I have the gummy bears at the end of the day. But I also got like her the Toblerone. Well, I remember buying her Toblerone before, and I didn't know if she liked it or didn't like it. Didn't remember. It turns out, spoiler alert, she doesn't like Toblerone.
Oh.
So $36 later on candy bars, I roll up in the house and I'm like, you gave me zero direction, so I had to just get a bunch. And I just dropped the bag on her and I said, you're welcome. Then I got I don't really like Toblerone. And what's this and what's that? I don't even know. I went right outside. I didn't want to get yelled at or anything. So I just went outside. But while I was at the gas station, really funny, because anytime I go to the gas station, because I don't smoke in my car, I stop, smoke a cigarette and all that. Well, there's another non-car smoker out there with me. So I don't have a conversation with her because I don't like to talk to strangers and we know how awkward that can be for me. So Chris, take a guess of what I did.
Plug the podcast.
I turned the podcast on and turned the volume up in my car as loud as I possibly could. She left after that.
She immediately started smoking it in her car.
Yeah.
With the windows up.
Listen, this sort of reminds me of Iron Man 2 when Tony Stark gets his significant other. I can't remember her name. We don't like
Pepper.
it. Pepper Pot. He gets her strawberries.
There's a candle that smells like her vagina, by the way.
Nice. I bet Tony Stark likes that. So he gets her strawberries, and when he gets to her, she says, "Oh, so you got me the one thing in the entire world that I'm allergic to."
Yeah. Exactly.
The word history comes from ancient Greece, first used by Aristotle. Historians seek knowledge of the past using historical sources. I use Google. This is The Hiz with Alex. Valentines. How did it come to be? Well, I have an idea of how. In ancient Rome, Lupercalia was observed February 13th through the 15th on behalf of the pagan gods, Pan and Juno, the gods of love, marriage, and fertility. In the 3rd century ACE, 2 men named Valentines were executed in different years by the Romans. Many legends grew of these 2 men. In the 1300s, Chaucer's poetry about Valentine's Day is published, and by the 1400s, Charles VI of France issued the Charter of the Court of Love, which was a lavish festival that included a feast. At the festival, ladies would hear and rule on disputes from lovers. In 1850, Esther Howland, the daughter of a prosperous stationer in Massachusetts, began mass-producing rectangular cards that were spruced up with fabrics and affectionate words. By the 19th century, mass production of Valentine's cards became cheap and easy, and large companies like Hallmark started to market the holiday.
Guys, we had a big week last week. Okay, a little magic. We're going to ruin the magic. But as we're recording this, tonight is Bubba Jobe's Super Bowl. When you hear this, we will have already played the Bubba Jobe Super Bowl. Now, the entire Super Bowl will be on Twitch for about a week, right? So you have a couple days to watch it. Yep. We are going to put all of our special Super Bowl commercials, the national anthem, the halftime show.
Scott, let's mention there's 11 edited videos that will be posted. But where will they be posted, Scott? They going to be posted on YouTube?
They are not going to be posted on YouTube.
Oh.
They're going to be posted on Patreon.
Oh.
There's a huge Bubba Jobe announcement and what's next for the Jobster. And so you're not going to want to miss that stuff. And you can sign up for our Patreon for as low as $2 a month and see us record live and catch all of our secret videos, or as we're now going to call it, Sarah's secret stash. So you definitely want to check that out. But the Super Bowl was fun. I hope it was fun. I hope the streaming worked just fine on Twitch. And if you want to follow us on Twitch, we're our link is on our website, nonewfriendspodcast.com, or just go to Twitch and it's NNF Podcast. You're listening to the No New Friends Podcast. We'll be right back. Hey, everybody, looking for another way to listen to the No New Friends podcast? We are now featured on Glacier FM. That's GLACER.FM.com. Just go to the music channels and go to Glacier Underground. That is Glacier, GLACER. And you can hear us Thursdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Once again, that is GlacierFM.com.
There are 3 things that I hate in life: taxes, nausea, and booking vacations. The first 2 I'm stuck with, but for the third, I use Sandpiper Vacations. Sandpiper Vacations is a small business that is LGBTQ+ owned and operated with travel advisors all over the country. Whether it's a cruise, a trip to a theme park, or an all-inclusive resort, Sandpiper has you covered. Oh, and I forgot to mention, it's free. Why book a vacation when you can have someone else do it for you? That's like choosing to take the stairs in a building that has an elevator. Leave the headaches of booking a vacation to someone else. Get your quote today at www.sandpipervacations.com and tell them that the No New Friends podcast sent you.
What's going on, everybody? It's me, Remy, from Remy's Roundtable. Remy's Roundtable is a podcast for all of our listeners who would like to know what's going on here in the beautiful state of Florida, whether it has to be the Florida theme parks, the Florida sports, and of course we cover your top Florida headlines. We also bring the 5-Minute Professor every single month to give us our lecture and quiz on any topic that we would like to learn. So guys, do not go anywhere. You are listening to the No New Friends Podcast.
This is the No New Friends Podcast, and I am Carlos Alberto Navarro, bro, listening to No New Friends Podcast. And I'm out, bro.
Welcome back to the No New Friends podcast. If you want to check out a really cool ghost tour and you're in the St. Augustine area, check out the Night Watchman Ghost Tour. Just go to seeamericatours.net and go to the Night Watchman Ghost Tour little tab, and then use the promo code NNF, and you're going to receive 25% off. So check that out. We'd really appreciate it. Also, all of our sponsors are on our website. Use that special link on our website. There's some special deals for you, and it helps us out a lot. So, Valentine's Day is coming up. What kind of prep work do you guys do for Valentine's Day?
Well, to start off, my wife, Sarah, doesn't like expensive restaurant, and she loves arcade. So, we tend to go to restaurants that have arcades in them.
Oh.
So we killed 2 birds with one stone.
Like Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, well, maybe you, but not us. I know that's the only.
They stamp my hand when I go in there.
That's the only one that you're allowed to go in, but I understand. But no, we I don't know. We go to Dave & Buster's. I don't know if you're allowed to go in there yet. They do have a height limit to go in there. Sorry with the short joke. I'm sorry.
I never hear them.
No,
so
it's fine.
It's new to me.
Never. That, that's a surprise because you're in the restaurant industry. I've been in the hospitality industry my entire life. We do not go out on Valentine's Day, the day before or the day after. because of the crowds. It's crazy.
Right.
And I don't want to deal with that. And also it's just an excuse to get out of going out. So
We're both off that day, so we might go during the day.
Oh, that's good. Date. Love it.
Yep.
Ricky, what do you do to prepare for Valentine's Day?
Go, usually we just stay in. I'll just go get some steaks, we'll marinate them. Larissa will make some sides. We'll get, one year we actually, we involved the kids and we made our own homemade chocolate covered strawberries. So that was fun.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, it was. They had a good time with it.
Cute.
They loved melting the chocolate and then, sticking their fingers in it and stuff. But, yeah, like Valentine's Day, we don't really do much. It's usually just like most of you guys. Like we just stay in. We'll make a home cooked meal and have fun. Get a bottle of wine and call it a night. Pretty boring.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Okay, so Lewis and Sarah are going out during the day. Mm-hmm. Chris, what are you doing on Valentine's Day?
So Valentine's Day starts late January for me, the prep anyway, and the preparation is really just like letting Emily know, like, listen, you will be let down. This is nothing. Like Valentine's Day will come and it will just be another Wednesday or whatever day of the week it is. So I let her know that I listen, the Pokemon investment that I've been making for the past year that I emptied our savings account, not paying off yet. Listen, but in the next 10 years from now, your Valentine's Day is going to be sick. But right now, all this money is just going towards these Japanese release Pokemon cards. And listen, one day, I'm telling you, one day you will have a great Valentine's Day, but it just won't be this year. So I just tell you, don't expect any presents. Flowers, no, I don't give in to big flower. I think that's, listen, you go to Wegmans, which is our local supermarket, they charge $49.99 for flowers here. So what I do is I always, every year, I make sure that we're busy on Valentine's Day so that we go out the 15th or the 16th, because then you catch those 75% off sales. I don't buy anything until February 15th because you get your flowers for 75% off. You get the chocolates for 75% off. No, listen. You guys are rookies if you're buying Valentine's Day stuff the week before Valentine's Day. You got to wait for the day after. The day after sale is
yeah, for sure.
Sick.
For sure.
Yeah. So that's kind of how I go into Valentine's Day, the mentality that I go in.
Okay. So you guys are not doing anything on the evening of February 14th.
We are not.
I'm not. So fantastic.
Oh.
We can still record an episode on Valentine's Day.
Oh, man.
Just setting that schedule for next week. Yeah. So let me tell you something. This is what I do. Now, first of all, I was a dumbass, and I think we've talked about this before. My anniversary is on February 16th, and her birthday is on February 27th. So I have 3 events within a matter of 2 weeks of each other. Me, when I'm setting these things, I'm thinking, 3 birds, 1 stone. And she's like, no, that's not how it works. So I'm already a bad gifter. So now I get 3 opportunities in the same month to be really bad at it. But you know what I did to prepare for Valentine's Day? Because look, we all know that my trips to Costco, Reiki Costco is sex. My trips to Costco are very few and far between. So, but there's a couple days out of the year that it's a guaranteed win, and that's Valentine's Day.
Maybe if you would get the right chocolate, you can get Costco more.
You're not wrong. But listen, there are a couple guaranteed. They're guaranteed. They're givens. Like it's going to happen. Valentine's Day, anniversary, birthday. Those are the 3 days. Maybe Father's Day, but that's also a little weird. But so 3 days definitely. So you know what I did to prepare, Chris?
Let me hear.
I used my Manscaped lawnmower 4.0 and did the grooming. I did the grooming, and it had been a while, so it was kind of like a machete rainforest situation and all that. But I got to tell you, it's great. I'm a little itchy, and so now I'm having to like scratch in public, which has been a little. Well, weird.
No, did you get their? They have more products for that, Scott.
That's what I'm hearing. Yeah, I'm hearing that there's all sorts of lotions that you can use before and after shaving,
and maybe even
for the nether region.
Yeah, maybe even just if you're have a day off.
so anyway, little itchy, but I'm going to upgrade and get the lotions and all that. But love that lawnmower 4.0. It was worth its weight in gold. No nicks to the balls, no scratches, no any other issues. It was just a nice clean shave, a nice clean experience. And listen, if you're interested in being ready for Valentine's Day, well, that's a couple days away, but being ready for the next Valentine's Day, or maybe you have an anniversary coming up, or whatever, just visit Manscaped and use the promo code NNF for 20% off your purchase.
Well, it's funny you should say that, Scott, because I've just been having recurring dreams of rehearsing this very paragraph. So support for the No New Friends podcast is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Their products are precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped's Performance Package, the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 7 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer to you. Like Scott said, it's 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code NNF, as in no new friends, at manscaped.com. If my math correct, that's about 14 million balls, Scott.
Yeah, 14 million balls that have been cleanly shaven.
Yeah,
with,
Scott,
with
I'm not
no
going to
nicks.
lie to you. When you said you got the lawnmower 4.0, I thought you were giving it away. Because there's no way that you were that's just one of those things that you're just using just because like they're a sponsor. Like you don't need that. I thought you were going to use it on your head. Like I had
no. Listen, my head is the only place that hair doesn't grow. Okay, everywhere else, no problem. I got this nice beard and all that.
you're going to have to use that thing like
problem.
4 or 5 more times before Rachel even notices.
Well, that's just. Yeah. Well, here's the funny thing, and this is a true story. It is really easy to use. In all seriousness, it's really easy to use. The problem is, they have not figured out you can't see down there because you're fat. And so like I'm trying to figure that all out.
You put a little side view mirror on the trimmer.
Yeah, I mean that's what they need. They need an extendable mirror so I can see.
I'm imagining this right now, and I do not like it. So imagine you like standing on top of like you go to Walmart, just get like a $10 like mirror that you put in a dorm and just stand on top of it, just so you could just see you don't have it. But you know what?
Right.
It's accident proof, Scott. So you could just go to town down there. And,
exactly. But I felt like a damn woman shaving their legs. Like I got my leg like up on the shower thing and all that, and I'm trying to do whatever I can. It was
Hey man, I'm impressed. I'm
pulled a
impressed
hammy.
how you got that leg up.
pulled a hammy during that, so this is now my flu game. But anyway, now that I've killed everybody's appetites are dead. Chris, you wanted to talk about death.
Yeah, so Wednesday's Wine Wednesday for me. And I always think like, do I have to be up early the next day? I don't get drunk. But, what if I did? Do I have to get up early? Tomorrow I do. Tomorrow I have a funeral to go to. And you know what? Funerals and death, they're all a part of life. Let's talk about it. Funerals are f***ing weird, man. But you know what's even weirder is viewings.
Yes.
I understand
Yes.
to an extent funerals, but viewings, like we're going to put the person that you love the most in your life, we're going to fill them with some liquid to keep them ice cold and present them in front of all of you so everyone can go up and touch their ice cold body and then just cry. I don't get viewings. What is a viewing accomplishing? Please tell me. Other than padding big bombing companies. Because I don't know.
Big Bomber?
Why, yeah, Big Bomber. What's your opinion on viewings? Happy Valentine's Day, by the way.
Ricky, we'll go to you. What do you think?
It's weird, man. Like recently, I can't say her. The one we can't say her name. A coworker of her passed away, and we went to the funeral, and they had the viewing, and the way like her face looked, it was like completely bloated. It didn't look like her. It was totally weird. And because it was a school, it was a church, but there's a school to it. There was children that came to the
my god
to not the funeral of the mass, whatever, and the viewing, and the kids going up and seeing it, and they had just seen her a couple of days because she passed, and it was. I don't know, man. And like, especially with the kids, it's really weird, like you said, and it's tough because you want to see them one last time, and you want that closure, I guess.
That's the lasting image you have in your head.
Yeah,
but exactly, that's the last time you see this person. Then now, like, I have that image, in my head. So yeah, I'm with you, man. It's weird. It really is weird.
See, you say that. You say you want to see him one last time. I'm very anti seeing them one last time. Like, I saw them one last time. I did when they were breathing. I'm one of those people, and, see, let me know if you've ever encountered someone like this. So if you've ever been to a full viewing and funeral, like whole presentation, there's that very like jarring, very not romantic, very it's opposite of romantic, very
The opposite of romantic is me. I don't know.
I don't know what to call it. Moment
Dramatic?
when they close the casket. When they when they close the casket. Dramatic. There we go. So listen, there's a very dramatic moment when they close the casket, right? And it's like that you're glad you're getting. I clap. I get up and I applaud. It's like when you land an airplane and you're finally there. I clap because it's like, okay, thank you so much. Especially those funerals for like the people that you see or the viewings that you see. It's like they were 106 years old and their faces all sunken in and stuff. Like nobody wants to. I do not want to see Blanche with her eyes sunken in. The last time I saw Blanche, she gave me a caramel candy. It was a beautiful memory. I don't need to see her one last time. Put a little portrait up. Put those thousands of dollars that you're paying for this like little procession to see her dead body, and put it in like a presidential portrait like that you put right on the casket. Don't even, you know what? And go as far as like, don't even put the casket in the room. I don't need to be in the same room as them. They're dead. I don't need to be in the same room as them. I don't need any of this. No one needs any of this. It is so sad. It is like you know that you're just gonna go there and be sad. Let's normalize renting out like clubs for people's death. Like you rent out a club and you just party for their life. I will dance on the grave, literally, of someone who dies rather than see them dead in a casket.
Yeah,
I just don't like
the
it.
good thing for you, Chris, and Ricky, who's from Queens, New York, is you guys are used to seeing plenty of death just on the streets. You know, from the stabbings and the random muggings. So like it's not as much of a shock for you.
Sure. Yeah. I was just stepping over dead bodies as I walked to school.
Honestly, Scott, the reason I'm saying this is that, listen, I mean, it's hard to say, but it's all part of life. You're a lot older than me, Scott. I don't like, listen, when you die, throw a party. I'm not coming to your viewing. I'm not flying to Florida to come to your funeral. I'm sorry.
Listen. When I die, I want to be presented at my viewing or at my funeral, sitting at my desk, because this is what I did. I want people to see me at what I always did every single day. And I don't want to be in a casket.
No.
I want to be sitting down on my desk and people are like, oh, what is he doing? He's probably recording a podcast or editing something. That's what I want to be be doing.
Okay.
That's the most beautiful, weird thing I've ever heard in my life, Louis.
Yeah, it is. It is a little beautiful and weird.
Well, the thing is, I say that because it was a trend back home when I lived there that
in Puerto Rico, right?
In Puerto Rico.
I've seen those
and
clips.
You bring the dead person into their house for 24 hours, right?
And no, but not only that, there was a trend that if they like motorcycles, they put motorcycles with them sitting on it, stuff. And that was the viewing. Or if they, whatever they like to do, that's how you looked at them, how you viewed them on their funeral. And it was a joke what I just said, but it was a real thing. It was a real thing, and it was all over the news the first time it happened, and then it became a thing.
Let's normalize that. I want to party with your dead corpse one last time, Scott.
Okay.
We'll weekend at Bernie's. Listen, I would love to do a weekend at Scott's, like weekend at Bernie's, rather than.
There's going to be a lot of dogs around,
and we'll record it and we'll record it and I'll put it on YouTube.
Well, that's what I was going to say is look, Chris, you're going to have to come down for my funeral because there better be like a live recording at my funeral. Like you guys need to record the podcast at my funeral. I don't want to be buried in a goddamn suit. I want a New Friends podcast shirt. I want a big gulp in one hand.
And you want a banner of all your sponsors around you. I get that.
Yes.
I get that.
I want to be buried with the No New Friends banner in the background. And that's it. I don't even need a shirt. Just, you don't have to bury my clothes.
We all need your shirt on.
Hey, Scott, we'll fold it up and then we'll present it to Rachel.
Oh, no, that's a much better idea. Fold up the No New Friends flag, present it to Rachel. I want the 3-gun salute, and listen, it could be water pistols. I don't care.
We'll do a lawnmower Manscaped salute for you.
Brilliant.
I do need to read this one comment that we got in our Twitch chat. When I said I wanted the weekend at Bernie's with you, Classic Ryan says, "Good luck carrying him around." Sorry, can't shut the casket. His belly is in the way.
And yes, I did say Patreon members do get the first 2 rows.
They get
then
VIP.
family after that.
You
get VIP
seats.
Well,
All right.
speaking of partying, though,
yeah,
like one of my better memories of a funeral was when I went. Unfortunately, a friend of mine's father passed away, and I had seen some friends I hadn't seen in years. And after the funeral, we all went out and got beers, and we're just reminiscing and telling stories and laughing, and ended up being like this awesome night. So
yeah,
definitely agree with
See?
having like some type of one last party, one last send off.
Yes,
have a good time.
Because listen, let's do that instead of having those depressing ass luncheons. No one wants
I
to go
do
to a
not want a
luncheon
depressing
at a
funeral.
church,
Yeah.
at a church hall or at a fire hall
where you can't drink.
We're eating like hoagies and like just crying. Your bread's all soggy because of the tears. I don't want to do that.
Soggy bread tears.
You always have at weddings you have the usual suspects, the characters that are at every wedding. Same thing with funerals. You always have that one friend who's like, "Hey, it's so good to see you. I'm sorry it's under these conditions."
Yeah. I'm sorry.
It reminds me of Wedding Crashers.
Yeah.
Like Will Ferrell's character is crashing funerals because they're all sad and they're easier.
And that's the thing too. You have someone going to funerals just to pick up the bridal party, or the wife, the widow, or the widower, or the widowest. They're going to pick them up.
I guess what I'm trying to say here, all in all, like what this whole conversation, I just want to put the fun back in funerals.
When we come back, we have Adulting Question of the Week. It's a really good one. We have an amazing Florida Man, Jersey Man, Chris's Cliff Notes, and much more. You're listening to the No New Friends Podcast.
Picture it, St. Augustine, Florida, 2022. You're on the Night Watchman Ghost Tour with all of your ghoul friends. The air grows colder, you turn the corner, and there she is, Ghost Mary. Okay, you probably won't run into Ghost Mary. You may see a ghost named Mary. I'm not really 100% sure, but the tour guides for the Night Watchman Ghost Tour from See America Tours do know it is the only 4D ghost tour in St. Augustine. So if you have ever wondered what a ghost smells like, well, now is your chance. And right now they have a scary good deal going on. Enter the promo code NNF, as in No New Friends, and receive 25% off your Night Watchman Ghost Tour. So visit them at seeamericatours.net. That is SEE americatours.net. Okay, bye.
Lizard people, the moon landing, birds aren't real. Hi, this is Chris from the No New Friends podcast. And if you're hearing this message, you were selected to join the resistance. For as low as $1 a month, join our Patreon and help us uncover the truth. Upon joining us, you will be invited to our secret Discord, where we help spread these truths. You will be invited to watch our live recordings where the government cannot interfere. For more information, please send a messenger pigeon to my underground bunker or visit us at www.nonewfriendspodcast.com. This message will self-destruct in 3, 2, 1.
Hey there, Scott here. You all know I like to spend time wandering the neighborhood on my big wheels or hanging out at the park with my fedora and my Bud Light. So I don't have time to clean my own house. That's why I've been using I Believe services for the past 6-7 years, and they're the best in commercial and residential cleaning. They're also doing carpet shampooing at such a reasonable price. Just check them out. That's ibelieveservices.us. Give them a call, 407-928-4595, and tell them that the No New Friends podcast sent you.
Hello, this is Bua Job. I'm from the West Africa. We are listening to a new friend in podcasts.
Welcome back to the No New Friends podcast. I'm joined with Chris, Mr. Sarah Lewis, and Uncle Rick. That's my brother-in-law, Ricky. All right, so I've got a great, fitting adulting question of the week, and it's perfect for Valentine's Day, and it's perfect for 4 dudes being on here. Although it'd be great to get a woman's perspective, but I think that this will be really good, okay? Here we go.
Who needs them?
Yeah, this is from Dads Helping Dads. Have you guys ever tried keeping a detailed logbook of the arguments with your wife? I started one. Just a date stamp with a description of how I think it got started. I feel like I'm always honest when I make a mistake and apologize, but in 4 years of marriage, I think I've gotten one apology. I think there's no way that you can sensibly have an argument with a woman because in the heat of the moment, they have way too much cards to play against you. That's just the difference between men and women that will always exist. Women get to raise their voices and effectively bitch and moan about something, but men must remain stoic and stable at all times or risk losing everything they care about. But keep that log, if nothing else for your own sanity. Women completely wreck their bodies to give us children, but family is a group effort. So the other day I pulled out my logbook to make a counterpoint to my wife. And anyway, I'm wondering if any of you guys out there have a room I could vent for a while.
This is a lot. This is a lot to unpack.
A lot to unpack.
Stressed out just by listening to the question.
The whole log, man. Like if you brought that up to a woman, whew, man, like just like, you're taking notes. You're keeping notes on our arguments. What kind of sick individual are you? Like I can't. I don't even know, man.
Yeah, listen. I've been married once, and Sarah. She's perfect. So this doesn't go with her. This is previous. When a woman starts an argument, and in the middle of the argument, they stay in point, they are right. When they start veering away from the point and they start attacking you personally, that has nothing to do with the argument, you won. You won the argument. So for you, mentally, you won that argument. It doesn't matter if she knows it. You know it. Just let it happen because you won.
Right. Chris.
This is a loaded question.
Yeah.
You have a logbook, don't you?
I have a mental logbook, Scott. I do. I have a very good memory for the worst things. I was not good in school. I couldn't remember, school stuff, but I could remember dumb stuff like what Emily said to me 6.5 months ago in an argument we had. And guess what? You know how many times that works, Scott?
Zero
times.
Yeah.
I'll bring up stuff, and Emily's always got a good response to it. We don't fight a lot, and I think that's why I can remember these things. Doesn't make it any more useful. Does not make it any more useful.
But am I the only one that thinks about things that you could have said in the argument after the argument?
Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure. 100%.
Yeah.
We all
because I can keep a logbook, but in the middle of the argument, I forget my point. And what you have to do, and I learned this from Kevin Hart. You have to say something that's
whatever you're gonna say is, I guarantee you should not be doing that. If you start off with, I learned this from Kevin Hart.
Listen. You have to throw them off in the middle of the argument. Yell something such as, "Why are you always cooking with the microwave on high?" or something. Like throw them off, and hopefully it'll work. If it doesn't, you got to laugh out of it. But man, I don't know why I always forget what I need to say when I need to say it. I think about it when I'm in the shower. I'm like, man, I should have said this. I'm going to start this argument again, and that's stupid. Don't do that.
No, why would you do that?
Yeah,
Lewis, that's the Puerto Rican in you.
No, and I don't.
That's why you're doing that.
Yeah.
See,
yeah.
And you know what? I am a little Puerto Rican, and that's probably why. Like, I'll think of this stuff like you, Lewis. But since I'm not like full Puerto Rican, I step out of the shower and I open the door, like, hey, I remember 3 weeks ago when we were talking about such and such. Well, and then I just I get my last words in. It turns out not to be the last words, but like I want them to be the last.
I have the last word in my house. I have the last word in my house, and it's yes, honey.
There you go. There you go.
You were right. I was wrong.
Exactly. Listen, to wrap this all up, this is a terrible idea. Okay. Even if he's saying that he just keeps a logbook for his mental sanity. Okay. That's stupid, because who does most of the, and not that not that I'm getting into gender roles, but we're lazy as who does most of the cleaning around the house? Our wives, because we're too busy gaming or watching football or whatever. Our wives clean the house because if they don't do it, nobody else is. And they're going to find this logbook, and God help you if they find this logbook where you've been logging down their arguments.
Oh, that would be an argument itself.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, how can you be taking notes? You're taking notes on arguments. That's something that's, private or whatever. Like,
exactly.
They're going to call you insane. Like,
yeah, exactly. All right. So we all agree.
Like you said, Lewis. Yes, honey. Yes, honey.
Exactly. Are you guys ready to play Jersey Man, Florida Man?
Whether flipping a fan boat or crashing a truck, these states are filled with people who suck. So it's time for us to play New Jersey Man versus Florida Man.
That's right. Every week, Ryan brings us two news stories. One is from Jersey, one is from Florida. It is up to us to determine which one they came from. So take it away, Ryan.
Hey guys, this is Ryan, coming to you from the No New Friends newsroom located this week in my recording studio. After Scott's masterful segue he used last week that made us all a little uncomfortable, especially Sarah. Welcome to the podcast, Sarah. Get used to being uncomfortable. I thought I'd give Scott a lesson on how segues are done. So I have a few news stories here, and I'll try to segue from one to the other. So Scott, take notes. So our first story, we are talking about segues, but the goofy-looking mall cop vehicle ones. So now you can take a Segway tour of Chicago. So if you ever want to get shot while looking like a giant nerd, that's probably going to be your best bet. Speaking of giant nerds, Chris will like this story. At Georgia University, an underage student somehow used a Pokemon card as ID to get into a bar to drink. He was found later in his room, passed out drunk, saying he only had 4 beers. What a lightweight. Lightweight are words that are never used to describe Scott. But drunk and teen are surely key words in his search history. Maybe this woman is in his search history as well. A British cop quits her job and now makes $200,000 a month on OnlyFans, posting new pictures of herself. Speaking of beavers and bad teeth and taking pictures of them, in this next story, a European man is bitten and killed by a beaver while trying to take a picture of it. This guy should have never picked a fight with that beaver. Just like those kids that picked a fight with Mary in the park. Just because you're bigger than them doesn't mean they aren't more vicious than you. Speaking of vicious, a man in Moscow is facing 5 years in prison after using a cat as a weapon against police. All this talk about cats is making me hungry for Chinese food. Oh, a friend of mine that owns a Chinese restaurant told me they most definitely overcooked yours, Scott. A Chinese restaurant owner right here in North Carolina is apologizing for bringing roadkill to his restaurant. He was seen driving around the back of the restaurant with a dead deer. He said he never tried deer before and wanted to try it, but he never intended to serve it to guests. This reminds me of my wife's driving. Anyways, let's get this show on the road and get into this week's Florida Man or Jersey Man. And in our first story, a police chief got fired for falling asleep in a meeting. And in our second story, a 41-year-old man is charged for beating to death an 82-year-old with a piece of fruit.
Oh. All right. So, Ricky, we're going to start with you. Do you think where do you think do you think the cop story is Florida or Jersey, and then the fruit killing murderer, which one's which?
I'm going to say the fruit killing is Florida man and the cop is Jersey.
All right, Lewis, how about you?
What throws me off is the word cop. I don't know if New Jersey has any of them. So I'm going to go with cop being Florida and the second one being New Jersey.
Yeah, I'm going to, Chris, what do you think?
Well, listen, we want to abolish the police up here in New Jersey, so I think the firing at the cop was definitely New Jersey. It's probably a good start. And the fruit was Florida, because we don't believe in fruit down here, up here.
I'm also going to go cop is Jersey, and because I feel like just any cop story is NYPD or Jersey or whatever, and then fruit is Florida. Let's find out the answer.
And our first story is from New Jersey, where a New Jersey police chief was fired after allegedly falling asleep in meetings as local crime soared. Jesus, does anybody in New Jersey know how to work, or do they all just sleep all day like Chris? And our second story is from Florida, where in Jacksonville, they have no fingerprints and no weapon to tie a man to an elderly woman's murder when they turn to the piece of fruit he is eating. Turns out he killed her with a piece of cantaloupe. Speaking of cantaloupe, how's your balls, Scott? I can't believe I didn't notice you walking funny or anything when we hung out a couple months ago. Should probably get those checked out. Anyways, in other news, here's a romantic story for Valentine's Day. Why would a man run onto a dog racetrack? True love. No, Scott, not true love for a dog. A 41-year-old man stormed onto a track to beat up a dog trainer that's been seeing his ex. He punched and kicked him and then immediately turned himself into the police. Apparently, the dog trainer is so in love with this woman, he even named one of his dogs, Gemma is my one and true only. The bitter ex is now looking into getting a cat, and he's going to name it Gemma is a two-timing whore. That's it for me this week, guys. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you so much, Ryan.
Oh, man. Great as always. Great as always.
Yep.
Don't ever feel
Chris,
bad about a cat joke, Ryan.
No, never feel bad. That was really funny, and I don't know how many people are going to get that because it was so subtle.
So good.
Chris, do you have any cliff notes?
I do.
It's been quite the show. A lot of stuff's happened, so nothing can stop this little boy from recapping the day the Chris's Cliff's Notes way.
Wow, so now I got to top 2 jingles and Ryan's Jersey Man versus Florida Man. This is a tall order. So
Not like you.
So so listen, I usually start off Cliff Notes with, these are all jokes that I write, but I occasionally steal them from our Patreon members. But I actually reached out to Scott because the Super Bowl is on Sunday. We were recording a few days before the Super Bowl, so I reached out to Scott for him to write. I texted him, please write a joke for the big game. And I know, he's not good at improv, so I gave him a week's notice, and he sent me back this. So I did not read this yet. All right. This is in Scott's words. The big game was this weekend, and man, did I enjoy it. I locked myself in the room, relaxed, got out the tissues and lotion. Scott, I meant the big game. I meant the Super Bowl, not the Puppy Bowl, Scott. All right, I'm not going to read the rest of this. I don't even feel comfortable. Okay, so anyway. So speaking of the Super Bowl, the Chiefs made the Super Bowl, and it was not without controversy. A lot of sports teams are getting called out for being racist because of mascots and names, and the Chiefs are one of them. Their fans do that now infamous tomahawk chop, which many are now donning to be racist. And I'll be honest with you, the only other time I saw that many racist people move their arms like that in unison is when they were pulling the lever to vote for Ron DeSantis. It's literally the only other time.
That's good you went that way. I thought you were going with like a...
No. We try to stay away from
this. Hitler's not funny.
No.
Ricky, come on.
We talked about Valentine's Day, and Scott asked us, all of us, how good of gift givers we were. And Scott admittedly said that he is not a good gift giver. But Scott, you do give your wife way more than money could buy. A list of these includes depression, regret, and the occasional acid reflux. So tonight we debuted a couple of new jingles, which were awesome. Scott used to write all the old jingles, but listening back to them, it doesn't sound like he tried very hard. I think a Dunkin' Donuts employee tries harder to mix your coffee before they hand it to you through the window than you did at making the old jingles, Scott. I got my coffee this morning, and the guy just twirled it 3 times and gave it to me. And I was like, okay, thanks, man. In the jingle for Chris's Cliff Notes, I was described as a little boy, and it just dawned on me that's why Scott's kept me around for so long.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, my God.
Scott's relationship question of the week was a doozy. We all agreed that it was a lot to unpack. Scott's belt knows the same feeling. So, and lastly, Ricky's connection was not very good, unfortunately. So instead of his video showing the whole episode, it was just a pitch black screen. Living in the neighborhood that Scott lives in, I can guarantee you that is the blackest thing that Scott has seen in a long time. And those are my clip notes.
It's been quite the show. A lot of stuff's happened, so nothing can stop this little boy from recapping the day the Chris's Cliff's Notes way.
Thank you so much, Chris. I got those jingles as well as our intro voiceovers from Fiverr. I went to nonewfriendspodcast.com, clicked on that Fiverr link, and it brought me to just a bunch of really, really cool things that I didn't even know existed. The voiceovers, the jingles, graphic design. You could put a sound effect to your logo. So you're like sound branding your logo. Just so many really cool. They have legal advice. They've got digital marketing, writing. I mean, if you can build a work presentation. So Ricky, if you have to present something at work, there are people at Fiverr that'll do it for you, and it's affordable. And just go to nonewfriendspodcast.com, click on the Fiverr link, and it'll take you right there. And they can help you do so much, like these really cool jingles that you heard tonight.
One little spark of inspiration is at the heart of all creation, right at the start of everything that's new. One little spark,
Hey, it's Alex from Diz His. You know me, you know Joe, you definitely know Chris, and you know Jen. Well, we're the hosts of Diz His, the Disney History Podcast. Every week we take one Disney subject and go over the history, as well as our insight on the subject. We talk about other Disney topics, as well as what's new in the news. You can find us on all podcast platforms, or go to our website, dizhiz.com. That's DIZHIZ.com. And we're on all social media at DizHiz65.
Chris, what do you got going on Diz Is this week?
Scott, you just strike me as a, you know what? I wasn't going to say this, but you strike me as a lonely guy. Are you lonely, Scott?
Well, sometimes, because I don't really give my wife the attention that she deserves.
Well, you just seem lonely. Like looking at you, just seem lonely. Look at you.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah, you just look lonely. Yeah, well, I was a lonely guy, Scott, and it's just like one of those things. Like when you're lonely, you could just identify other people as being lonely as well.
Right.
I was lonely until I reached out to Nick at Sandpiper Vacations because he responds so quick to my text, Scott. I am no longer lonely. I shoot him a text. Hey, I want to go to Alaska this summer. He shoots me a text right back. We're having conversations about life. He's telling me, he's teaching me about this new Japanese diet that, is good for you keep all processed foods out and you meditate when you wake up in the morning. And he's teaching me all that. I didn't ask him. He's just a great guy. I didn't ask him for any of this. I just literally wanted to book my vacation with him, but texting Nick from Sandpiper Vacations and telling him that the New Friends podcast sent me has opened the door to such a healthier lifestyle for me. My third eye is now wide open. I can see things with all three eyes now. It's incredible. And it was all just because I wanted to go on a vacation. I didn't want to book it myself because I can't book vacations. I don't know how to do that. So I reached out to Nick at sandpipervacations.com. He taught me a new way to live. I can't wait to update you on this spiritual journey that Nick is taking me on. I will also recap.
He's a spiritual advisor now.
Yes, I will also recap the Alaskan vacation that he's booking for me. But this spiritual journey, I think, is just going to carry my life in such a different way. I'm very excited to look into it. But anyway, on this week, we're playing a game.
So don't forget, check out Sandpiper Vacations at sandpipervacations.com. Just tell them that the New Friends podcast sent you.
If you want your life changed, I mean, it really comes down to like, do you want to book a vacation? You want to take the time out of your day, book a vacation, or do you want someone to do it for you and change your life forever? It's really, it's really up to you. But yeah, so on this week, we are playing the actually very popular wait time game for Epcot. It's a lot of fun. It's me, Joe, and Alex. Alex and I go head to head. We do that. We do Niels Wants to Know, which is another favorite recurring subject or topic on the show. And it's a really fun episode. I had a lot of fun recording it.
Awesome. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Very fun episode. So definitely check that out. If you'd like to connect with DizHiz, that's DizHiz65 on all social media or DizHiz.com. Coming up next week, we have a really, really cool interview with a gentleman by the name of Bruce VIlanch. Now, Bruce was one of the writers of the Star Wars Holiday Special, the infamous Star Wars Holiday Special back in the 70s. He also wrote Hollywood Squares. He's been a head writer on the Tony Awards show, the Oscars. So that's a really big deal. He also appeared on Hollywood Squares. So we're super excited about that one.
Real quick, I wanted to play a very small snippet of this Bruce VIlanch interview that will appear in next week's episode. It's a very short snip, him talking about writing the Star Wars Holiday Special. So enjoy and make sure you tune in next week for the entire interview. First thing that comes to your head when I say Star Wars Hollywood special or holiday special?
Holiday special. It's kind of like you can't beat it with a stick. I mean, it won't go away. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what comes because everybody asks about it, and I'm to the point where I'm now writing a book about that and about a whole bunch of other colossal disasters that I wrote and managed to survive. And it's kind of like about television in the 70s and how these things that everybody your age is now watching on YouTube, how they came about at the beginning. And of course, Star Wars is the most famous of them. But at the time, Star Wars was a big summer movie. It was one of the early blockbusters. It was released in 4,000 theaters, but it was a year and a half afterwards, and George was about to start The Empire Strikes Back, and he wanted to stir the pot because the sales of the action figure Princess Leia doll were beginning to crater. So he wanted to have something else to go on, and he had these other stories. He told me he had 6 stories he was going to film, and then he had these 4 other stories cooking around, and he took one of them, probably the one at the bottom of the pile, and sold it to CBS because Star Wars was a brand already, but it had not become, and what it became later. That after the first 3 movies were released and the internet came in, or first the videotape came in and people watched them on VHS, and then the internet made it possible for them to watch them over and over and over. They became a religion. It became the Scientology of the nerds. So when they discovered the Star Wars Holiday Special, which was a dumb TV show that we put together to promote basically the Star Wars brand, they felt betrayed. They said to George, "How could you do this? How could you, stomp on our myth?" And he got scared. I think because they were a rabid bunch. So he tried to bury all, but you can't bury anything on the internet. That's
anymore. Nope.
The bitter truth.
Lewis, tell us about Nerd Archive podcast.
All right. Well, on the this week's episode for the Nerd Archive, we're going to be talking about the new video game store coming out. We're going to talk about the Nintendo Direct that just happened on the 8th, which is today as we're recording. And then we will also be talking about our experience with the new game Hogwarts Legacy. We will be talking about our what do we think of the game? Is it worth it? Is it not worth it? That's it. We're very excited for this new season of the Nerd Archive podcast. We took a couple of weeks off and we're starting season 2. So I can't wait for this.
Very exciting.
Awesome. Ricky, do you have anything to plug? You got a softball game or a ballet recital or anything you want to talk about?
My son's got baseball practice Saturday, Sunday. I'll be coaching then. So
what's the address?
Come out to Eastmount Park and I'll show you how to hit a baseball and throw and catch.
There you go.
I'll also be playing golf on Saturday.
Scott knows how to catch, so you're good.
Yeah, if you want to come out to Glen Abbey Golf Course on Saturday, I'll be out there playing golf too. So yeah.
Oh, perfect.
There you go. Well, listen. Okay, Ricky's a very good-looking dude. Pause. It's Captain America, so maybe he'll take off his shirt. And ladies or gentlemen, you're welcome.
Or gentlemen.
So also you can check out some other great podcasts. Don't Wreck Yourself, where Ryan deep dives into things that are wrecking the internet. Super fun show. That's Don't Wreck Yourself. Also Remy's Roundtable, the theme park about everything that's going on in the state of Florida, including the theme parks from the state of Florida. Studio 21 baseball podcast. I think they're on hiatus for a couple more weeks though, but you can check that out. And then Big Beautiful Diz on YouTube. That's Dane's channel. Also you have Dane interviews. If you'd like to connect with us, check out all of our social media links, join our clubhouse and become a Patreon member. Watch these things as they happen live. Check out our sweet merchandise. Watch us on Twitch. Just go to our website, nonewfriendspodcast.com. Also check out all of our sponsors. There's a bunch of exclusive offers just for you. Just go to our sponsors link and there's instructions or links to get our special deals. So definitely check that out. On behalf of Game Master Ryan, our producer Alex, our guest Ricky, and Mr. Sarah Lewis, and on behalf of Sarah, Mary, Chris, I'm Scott. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time.
Okay, bye.